Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, February 11th, 2022. I powered through that one. And it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Stragg, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
And Jamie Ivey is on vacation this week. She is on a cruise.
Man.
Fancy cruise. So joining us from, where are you at? Dallas now? Our associate producer, downtown Emily Brown.
Hello. I'm in Dallas right now, but when the podcast actually comes out, I will be in Paris.
Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas.
Ooh, wee.
Paris, France. Bonjour.
Oh, yeah. Emily, have you been? So you're actually going to be Emily in France.
Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
Emily in Paris. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you been to Paris before or France?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I went to France in high school with my French class for like 2 weeks, and I spent like 2 days in Paris.
A high school class takes field trips to Paris?
Heck?
What?
I will be.
Nacogdoches is. Hey, look,
No,
I need to
from
send my
Dallas.
kids to Nacogdoches. Oh, it's in Dallas. Oh,
It was in
okay.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
Bel Air Academy.
So
Whoops.
me and two of my friends, I don't want to, okay, we didn't like bully our French teacher, but we were really annoying, and we were like, you should take us to France. Like, we just really wanted to go. We took French for 3 years. And she was like, I will take you guys before we go, or before your senior year. So there was like 6 of us that ended up going. But it was because me and my 2 friends, we were like on her. We were like, please take us to
Can you
France.
bully the IRS?
Yeah,
didn't.
can you bully?
I
I
wanna
got a
say
list
bully.
of people I need you to make some calls
People
for.
need bullying.
Emily,
Basically, I can be really annoying when I need to be.
Hey, I
That's
need
pretty much
that.
it.
I also ordered a Tesla. Can you bully them to send that mug faster than the release date?
Send me a list, and
All right, man.
Emily,
I need because
she's
I'm
the
seeing
fixer.
people wait for like months. You know what I mean? I need to get my joint a little quicker than what they said I'm gonna get it. So just hit Elon up. Be like, look, guys, my homie Derek, he kind of needs his car.
I didn't know if you were going to put it out there, Derek, that you just you are a new owner or buyer.
I'm not an
of
owner
a
yet.
Tesla.
I'm not an owner until
You're a
that
buyer,
joint
though.
get here. Yeah, I'm trying to. You know, that bug
help
said
you.
it's not gonna come till 2030. So
One day, 2050, I get that new Model X. Now, Emily, I do. I have one more question about your story about annoying your high school teacher into taking you to Paris. Okay. Was this like an off book kind of thing? Like, was this formal field trip, or was this just because if I annoyed a teacher and I was like, listen, I
annoyed many teachers.
Yeah. I've got to go and I've got to see Tokyo. Can you please? I will annoy you. Like, I think the teacher would be like, you know, it's really not my prerogative to take you to Tokyo. Like, I don't really have the power. Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
get a job, you entitled jerk.
10 years before we went, I think she had said she had taken a class before.
Gotcha.
She said it was just kind of, it's really hard. And she was like, I don't really want to do it again. Well, me and my two friends were like, nope, we want to go. So we would bring it up in class, like, because we all were really good students. Like, we weren't bad students. So I think that helped a little bit. But we, like, in class, we would say like, wow, we speak French really well. Maybe we should go practice it in France. And we would just bring it up constantly. It took like probably 2 semesters, but she finally agreed. And then we had like this whole meeting. My parents knew about it. Obviously, I was 17. I'm
glad you, like, no one, I don't think any of us assumed your parents didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But you said that in a way like, don't worry. My parents knew,
Well,
wink,
so-
wink.
Not like all the other stuff I did. My parents knew about
So,
this.
I'm gonna ask the obvious question, and it may have missed me because listen, my attention span is really, really bad, so it may have missed me. But the question that I have is, who funded this?
My parents.
Oh, okay. Parents pay for it.
Okay, I was going to say because if the school funded it,
This was so we knew about it like 2 years before because it's expensive. We had to like have time to plan. So this covered 2 years of Christmases and birthdays.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I didn't get, I think they got me like cards and then this was it. And I was
like
very happy with it. I was fine with it.
A Chick-fil-A gift card, like here, Merry Christmas.
And I was like, that's fine. I'm going to France for 2 weeks and it's worth it. But so they were really excited. My parents were excited for me too. But I mean, maybe a month before I left is when the first Taken movie came out. And that like almost derailed the whole trip because my parents were like, oh, wait, hang on a second. This is because it's in Paris. And so they were like, wait, I don't know about this. I was like, no, I'm not going to make any dumb decisions. I'm not going to talk to strangers. I'm not going to tell them where I'm staying and like invite them into my hotel. That's this girl. Like, she did all the wrong things. I'm going to be smart about this.
She did all the movie. That's a good point, Emily. She did all of the movie stupid stuff, like run up the steps. It's like, yo, you gotta blame that on the dad. It's almost like I feel like the dad really allowed her to get kidnapped because he felt like breaking people's bones. He just was like, you know what? I'm not gonna train her. I'm this super spy or whatever, but I'm gonna let you do all of this dumb stuff. I'm not gonna hip you to none of the stuff that you should do to be safe, and then I'm gonna go beat everybody up. And then we got
I never really
sequels
saw
out
the
of it.
Taken franchises, but I just couldn't believe that there was a Taken 2. Like,
There's like 4 of them, right?
is it the same girl and the same dad? Like, she just keeps getting taken?
Premise. It's the exact same premise. You're not going to believe it, Dad. I went back to Europe and got myself in another. I was once again abducted by Polish human traffickers.
At that point, we're calling child services.
For real.
What I appreciate, and I can't remember, but I have seen the Taken films, but they're really it's the same movie, just with different set pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of them, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 that I saw. And I feel like they just ran out of villains. Like the final fight, like, you know how all these movies are the same. You have to fight through all the henchmen, and you finally, just like an old school video game, got to fight the final boss. You know, like all of them are the same. But the final boss was just like a guy in a tracksuit. He wasn't even that big or imposing. He was unarmed. There's just a guy in a tracksuit. It was like, Liam Neeson's definitely going to beat him. Like even if it wasn't taken Liam Neeson, even if it wasn't like the character that he's portraying that has a particular set of skills and I just watched murder 25 henchmen. Even just the actor Liam Neeson would beat this tracksuit guy. He didn't look all that menacing to me. It was like, so this is it? Did the real villain get sick on the day of the recording and they just got some gaffer like, hey man, we need you to throw on a tracksuit and a silver chain and have Liam Neeson fight you.
Listen,
like,
George, The Rock got COVID and we're not going to be able to finish this. So I'm going to need you to put this tracksuit on. I need you to act as mean as possible and we're going to make it work. That's
so
what happened.
the lesson is avoid anybody in tracksuits when you're over there. Please be safe. Like don't mess around with Polish people. Don't mess around with tracksuits.
I don't know if we can blame all of Poland, but I have been to Poland actually. So and they were very nice. Yes.
Yeah. I bet they are. Polish people probably cool, man. For real. I just got a vibe.
They like their sausages and their brats. That's what I know about Poland.
To be fair, I don't know where these human traffickers were. They were vaguely Eastern European. I don't think it's ever really established, nor does it matter.
In one of them. Maybe that was the second one.
But they never really establish motivations. They never really establish who these people are, what they're human. It's just Liam Neeson going to, do crazy things to find.
It's like John Wick. John Wick is all about John Wick going through and just beating people senseless for an hour and a half.
But the great thing is, at least John Wick leans into my motivations are very flimsy. They killed my puppy. Right. This is all over a dog. Right. Like Taken went wrong when it's like, we got to make this serious. This has to be a human trafficking. Yeah. No one's believing that. True. You know what I mean?
Wait, I never saw John Wick either. So wait, literally his puppy gets killed and he goes and annihilates everybody associated.
Trilogy.
He's a retired hitman. And something went awry. And no, they killed his dog. And his dog was the only thing that kind of kept him grounded. And man, I bet they wish they didn't kill that dog because he killed about 100 people over that dog,
including Common, including about a 15-minute
one of the
scene
greatest
with
rappers
Common.
of all time.
He had to kill Common, man.
Wait. Is it Common acting or is it like the character, like the rapper Common is in the movie?
We all know when Common acts, he's still the rapper Common. So it's still the rapper Common.
You answered your own question, Cameron. You answered your own question. He's always Common. Doesn't matter what his name is.
He's never not Common.
That's true. All right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, Passion Music's Kristian Stanfill joins us. We also have a game at the end of the show. Super Bowl weekend. So it's a Super Bowl halftime show themed game. You don't want to miss that. And right now, stay tuned. Up next, Tyler joins us for our new segment, updated segment, evolved segment, Relevant Buzz. It's coming up next.
Close to my heart, angels calling back home. Warm within my arms, you're coming back home. Pesos down and you don't get what you pay for.
You're listening to Hammond. The song is Angels. Well, today's show is brought to you by the Lumo Project. Lumo is a stunning visual Bible that will help you see the gospel in a compelling new light. If you've ever wondered if the gospel has talked about the big questions we face in life today, things like addiction or money, depression, doubt, the answer is yeah, it's all in there. With Lumo, you can experience Jesus' teachings and story in a completely new way. Check out Lumo's free scripture videos by searching the Lumo Project over at YouTube. And for other free resources, including small group studies and more, check out lumoproject.com. That's LUMO project.com. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Relevant Buzz. All right. Please welcome to the show, Relevant Senior Editor Tyler Huckabee.
helping us stay informed, in the know about what's buzzing in the relevant world this week. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, everybody.
So what's going on?
So the first thing that we need to talk about, which everybody knows, people, you hear a lot of chatter out there about how relevance the kingmakers in Hollywood, we're the gate that everybody has to pass through if they want Hollywood glory. I don't want to relitigate any of that. I haven't heard that before,
Tyler.
Yeah, well,
it's everywhere.
If you spend more time in LA, I think people are
okay.
it's all they talk about out there.
I'm going to LA pretty soon.
Yeah, you'll hear it out there. Yeah, you'll hear all that out there.
Okay, all right.
People
I've been to LA a lot, but all right.
If you needed evidence, this is something you can. This would be good for you, Derek, because you can talk about this. This would be something to bring to the table for these conversations. This week on Tuesday, this year's Oscar nominees were announced, and of the people who were announced, so many we were privileged to talk to so many of them here in Relevant. Our two most recent Relevant magazine cover stars were both nominated for their performances. Jessica Chastain got nominated for Best Actress for her role in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and Andrew Garfield was also nominated for his role in Tick, Tick, Boom. Lin-Manuel Miranda was also nominated multiple times. I think it's very likely that he's going to EGOT on this round. This will be the final stud in that belt. We talked to him about that. We have... I can't say everybody yet, but we do have some surprises coming down who also received their Oscar nominations yesterday. And somebody we did not talk to, but this was a pretty wild achievement that I wasn't aware of. Steven Spielberg became the first director to be nominated in 6 different decades that he's been doing this.
Wow.
Wow. He's been doing this long enough now.
I thought he was in the 70s. I thought he started in the 70s. The first time he was nominated was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where he got his first nomination. And then for West Side Story, he was nominated yesterday, which makes him a Best Director nominee in every decade since he first started directing. Wow.
Which is, so he's one of the best. He's one of the best to ever do it.
And, we can't take credit for him, but we can take credit for all the other ones. So,
well, if he wants to talk to us, of course, our door is wide open.
Then
if he wants to win,
7 is a lock.
Yeah. And notice, there was a lot of talk about how Lady Gaga was snubbed for her role in The House of Gucci. She did not talk to us this year. I don't want to draw any conclusions to that, but lesson learned. Hope she took away. Let this be a lesson for the rest of you.
Didn't talk to us this year. He wasn't nominated.
Talk to us.
We can go down the list.
Alana Haim in Licorice Pizza didn't talk to us. Wasn't nominated.
I'm very surprised she didn't get nominated.
Well, I wasn't, because she didn't interview.
Tyler, did you send gloating emails to all of their publicists, letting them know that you told them this was going to happen if they did not speak to you? Yeah.
That was a subject line. You're welcome.
I breathed a sigh of relief because I did promise this to everybody. And
as part of getting them to
tell you
to the interview. Well, next we need to set our sights on Grammys, because
that's true.
Getting artists we're into, get them some Grammys,
So if anyone wants a Grammy, come talk to us.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what we're saying.
Exactly right.
Speaking of Grammys, Dua Lipa was on the Colbert Report. Colbert Report, not for like 10 years now. Dua Lipa was on Colbert this week, and he asked him a question about how his intersection of faith and comedy in his work, which was a very poignant question on her part. And I thought his response to this was also really, really poignant and really beautiful. Here's what he had to say.
In the same way, that sadness is like a little bit of an emotional death, but not a defeat if you can find a way to laugh about it. Because that laughter keeps you from having fear of it. And fear is the thing that keeps you from turning to evil devices to save you from the sadness. As Robert Hayden said, we must not be frightened or cajoled into accepting evil as our deliverance from evil. We must keep struggling to maintain our humanity, though monsters of abstraction threaten and police us. So if there's some relationship between my faith and my comedy, it's that no matter what happens, you are never defeated. You must understand and see this in the light of eternity and find some way to love and laugh with each other.
Stephen Colbert, everybody.
Holy cow.
I like that. I like that response because, for a couple of reasons. But I do feel like, there is, especially, and this is sort of anecdotal, right? Like this, but I'm sure you guys could affirm this to some degree. It seems like a lot of conversations that I have with people of faith these days, are, not always the most pleasant, in that they're very concerned about rightly concerned about the state of the world, no matter what their political disposition. It seems to be a lot of these, a lot of the dialogue is centered on kind of fear and concern and anxiety and worry. And, there really is a real almost spiritual power to laughing and just like making light of things and remembering that, not every moment of our existence should just be this heavy, oppressive thing. Even if the world is heavy and oppressive, not to be overly spiritual, the joy of the Lord is our strength. It's a lot of times if you're on you spend an average day on Twitter, you see a lot of stuff that is tough, and a lot of the dialogue is heavy. But it's like, I like his answer that, look, man, the way you defeat evil isn't to just match it down with fear or sort of the sense of dread, but it is to be able to kind of stare it down and still have some sort of posture of joy and humor. It was an interesting response.
Job 8:21, he will once again fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy. Yeah. Genesis 21:6, and Sarah declared, God has brought me laughter. All who hear about this will laugh with me. Like Jesse's, like this podcast.
That's right. Just good
Isn't
work,
it nice? One thing that Colbert does really well, and this is an aside, that man has a lot of stuff memorized. He's always pulling out like crazy
he just
quotes
pulled that out
in the
from nowhere.
In the middle, he doesn't have to look it up. He did it the other. He did a whole Shakespeare when Denzel was on. He recited from Macbeth like an entire He's a busy guy. That show is on every night.
Yeah, but Denzel was coming on to promote Macbeth. He dusted that off. You know what I mean? He was ready.
Colbert, he did a little bit. He committed like a whole. It was not just a quote. It was like it was a passage.
And
even so, it's still impressive. You know what I mean? Like it's even if he did memorize it the week before, I think sometimes we forget. Like I have a homie that, and this is I'm gonna use a different example, but I have a homie that hates LeBron. He hates him. He's like, LeBron is trash.
You can say my name. It's fine.
But I think a lot of times we forget people in that position just how magnificently talented they are. You know what I mean? Like you can say LeBron, you can say you don't like LeBron, but it's impossible to say he's trash. Like you just can't. Like same thing with Colbert. It's like we forget he's there for a reason. It's because dude is like a legit genius. You know what I mean?
You don't get to those megawatt roles in culture without having a lot going for you that we only get to see like 10-20% of on an average. Yeah.
The cool thing about this clip, though, I mean, just having kind of faith talked about in that format. I mean, we posted, and obviously it went wide. A couple of days ago, Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson retweeted us posting this clip. But I thought it was funny watching Christian Twitter, because I think this is great, having faith conversations in the public square. That the Christian isn't bigoted, he's not crazy.
Right.
It's Christ honoring. It's a good conversation, good representation of what we're about, right? And then like somebody like Tim Keller posted this, and his comments went crazy negative about how this is compromising the gospel and we shouldn't be applauding people who aren't living. Did you know Colbert also said this and this and this, and like annihilate, and you're ruining your witness, Tim Keller, by promoting this false gospel and all this stuff. They went crazy on him, and I'm just like, how do Christians see what Colbert shared on his show as a negative thing? I mean, it's just, I don't understand the anger and almost vitriol that Christians have toward each other, In my opinion, I feel like the desire for exclusivity and rightness has, what they would say in film, jumped the shark. It's jumped the shark. It's like at some point in time, it's like, we got to have exclusivity or we want to say, hey, these things are right. But it's like, it's now Christians have begun to metastasize themselves. Like they begin to eat themselves, because it's like, okay, it's not good enough to just be like, okay, I believe in Jesus or I believe in Yahweh. But then after that, it's like, well, do you believe in baby dedication? And now people are fighting over that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Do you believe that, in global warming? It's like now there's the fight over that because there's only one exclusive way to view everything. And I think that's the issue. Like there's no room for, and even when you look at the scriptures, like there was room for a level of fluidity
and there was a room for a level of interpretation. Like there was, even within, when you read in Acts, the apostles had to wrestle with, how do we deal with these Gentiles, right? And there's this opinion and that opinion. Even when you see how the Bible was put together, that was put together at the Council of Nicaea. Like there were creeds that had to be put together. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. Like, what do we believe? Like, with Jesus has come in, and now what do we think? You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a big issue right now, because the world is so fragmented. I think the internet does that too. It kind of, the algorithm kind of puts you in your bubble, and then you believe that your bubble is the only thing that exists. Like that's the only thing, right?
Yeah. And I think like that is what a lot of people on Christian Twitter don't realize is they're seeing like Stephen's response, and they're wanting it to be something like way deeper. And they wanted it to be like, people were saying like, he never even said Jesus's name, but like, his audience is not Christian. So like, I actually really love that he explained a fairly like Christian idea without going like super deep. Because, you know, if I were to tell someone who's never been to church, like Jesus died for your sin, they don't know what sin is. They don't understand, like, why would this person, you know, like there's so much to unpack there. But I think he took a really difficult idea and explained it in a really short and concise way that regardless of what your faith or beliefs are, like you can understand that, because we all recognize fear. And so like, I think he presented it in like a really beautiful way. And I think we should like appreciate that and celebrate that conversation is happening in a national non-Christian space, instead of nitpicking it, saying like, well, he should have used this word, he should have referenced this. Cause then this is why people don't like Christians, because that's how they act.
Did you see the clip where Liam Neeson was on, and they explained the gospel story through the lens of the plot of Taken, where Jesus, Satan tried to steal your joy.
Satan is wearing a tracksuit. Just picture Satan as a guy with a tracksuit. Jesus a chain in his hand. And his only weapon's a chain.
Yeah. He's going to do whatever it takes. He's going to go after the one and leave the 99. You know. Yeah.
On the flip side. On the flip side of this, to sort of another, something that maybe is sort of winsome. Do you guys, if I say Rich Mullins, do you guys know who I'm talking about here? If I say the name Rich Mullins?
Yeah. He's a ragamuffin.
The late on the Ritz.
Late great, he put on the late great ragamuffin, who best known for "Awesome God," of course, which was a song that he sort of famously was not proud of and did not think was very good, but also have a lot of other songs, and was known for being kind
how
of
would you feel about that?
Like
your career and legacy is defined by a song that you don't even like.
Yo, no lie. Look, I've had songs that I was like, I don't know about this one, and they do really, really well. So early on in my career, I started just being like, I'm not putting anything out unless I feel like I'm gonna love it 10 years later. Like,
that's smart.
Because it's extremely frustrating. You're like, hey, listen to all these ones right here. They're the crown jewel of my catalog, and they're like, nah, we're gonna listen to this one song you made for this youth camp or something. Like, that's the one that's gonna be the biggest thing you've ever done.
That's Rich Mullins.
You should have been around to tell Rich that, or he learned the hard way on his own. That was the state of things. But I think he was known for being kind of a strange dude. Like, he didn't really fit with the rest of the CCM scene. He was kind of a hippie.
Wear shoes. I remember that.
He didn't wear shoes. He was I just don't think he really, but he was a good enough songwriter, and he had some, like, Amy Grant was a close friend of his, so he continued to do pretty well. So this quote surfaced last week that seemed to really resonate with the relevant audience when we posted about it. Did quite well, and it's I won't read the entirety of it. You can head to relevantmagazine.com to check it all out there. But this is stuff. This was a interview from 1996, I think, when he gave this interview.
When did he pass away?
And it's hard to. Sorry,
when did he pass away?
97.
97.
So this was shortly before his pass. So shortly before he died, where he gave an interview. Where he said this, there's something offensive to me about having an American flag in a church building. When the CIA pretended to be missionaries and caused trouble in Chile so that all missionaries were kicked out, I think that makes the United States the enemy of the kingdom of God. I think a government that requires 18-year-old boys to register for the draft is anti-life. All the pro-lifers, they only think life is sacred if you're a fetus. I agree that life is sacred to fetuses, but I also think it's sacred to 18-year-olds. Where were you people when Nixon was in the White House, when Lyndon Johnson was escalating the war? I don't think everybody has to be a pacifist. I don't. But it does seem funny to me that so many people who are anti-abortion are pro-capital punishment, and so many people who are anti-capital punishment are pro-abortion. Can you imagine a CCM star unloading like this today? On the, like, I don't think you can do it. We get in trouble at Relevant for saying stuff like we did, and we do bring this argument
he has
about
a
the
holistic pro-life ethic. Yeah, holistic pro-life ethic, womb to tomb, life and human dignity. That, you know, yes,
man,
child trafficking.
You say that today,
but we do. That's the thing, and then we get labeled as woke liberals because we sit there and say Jesus talked about all life is created in his image, and he cares about everybody, the least of these, and we have the audacity of actually talking about that, and we're labeled woke. Rich. Hallelujah. Thank you. Somebody else at least is saying
I think it's different for Relevant. I'm thinking about from the artist perspective. Like for Relevant, it's different because it's your platform, right? Yeah. So what you've built is built off of just like, hey, this is our culture. This is that. When you're an artist, like you're dependent on the culture at large to like you and bring you out, right? So like I think about Lecrae after he tweeted something. It was really simple. Like it was like, hey, it wasn't even about race or anything. Oh, he was talking about, hey, deconstruction is okay. Like, you know, he was saying like, hey, take your time or grow and all of that, and literally lost a tour date.
Yeah.
Like they put out of a tour date because he had an opinion on deconstruction. So it's like, as an artist to say something that inflammatory today, that would be like, man, shows are being canceled, taken off the airways. You know, we're gonna show you, buddy. So.
I think toward the end of his career, though, Rich, because he's like famously there's anecdotes that he would even refuse to play Awesome God in his concerts and stuff like that. Like he didn't want to be co-opted. He didn't want to have to fit a mold because he didn't fit the mold. And so I think toward the end of what now we know is the end of his life, he had what was it, a car accident is how he died or something?
Died in a car crash, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like he was sick or seeing the end. I mean, he's in his career, but I think toward the end, he was actually trying to sabotage his career. I think he was trying to get out of the constraints of the mold people trying to put him in.
He moved out of Nashville. He spent the last part of his life on a Navajo Indian reservation.
That's right.
He said, and this is a direct quote, which again, 1996, he said, he quote, just got tired of a white evangelical middle class perspective on God, and I thought I would have more luck finding Christ among the Navajos. Again, 96, like white Christian CCM artists were not talking about the white evangelical industrial complex in this era at all. And he was out there trying to find God with his friends on a Navajo reservation. So he really, really interesting, very, very brave guy. Probably would have landed a little different in the internet world. Some of those quotes and interviews that he gave, but it's cool to see the path that guys like him and Brennan Manning blaze that a lot of people had already walked in, but continued to grow and get bigger because of people like Rich Mullins.
Yeah, good Rich.
Yeah, I gotta look into him.
Yeah, Tyler just found this quote this week, and we just posted it, and it exploded because people are resonating, so strongly with what he had to say. All right, last thing. What else you got?
Last thing. The final thing, and this is something that I know everybody's been talking about. I'm interested to hear everybody on this podcast perspectives because this is a field that we all have a big stake in, and that is the company called Spotify. Spotify, obviously, in the spotlight for a lot of reasons this week. If you haven't been paying attention, just very, very briefly, Joe Rogan has the largest podcast in the world. He has a $100 million deal to be exclusive with Spotify, and was facing a lot of criticism for multiple uses of the N-word that were resurfaced by India Ari earlier this week. There were also other derogatory comments about black people on his podcast, and of course there was misinformation about COVID-19. Now that criticism was
stuff.
It started because of the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew over a little bit. He weathered that. And then India Ari released a compilation of times where he used racial slurs and talked about black people and really, I would say, a horrifyingly offensive way. And Spotify now has said that they're going to stick with him. They're not kicking him out. They're not canceling his contract or anything like that. They did remove the episodes. I believe 111, I believe, was the last tally I saw, episodes that contained that. Joe Rogan apologized. The Spotify CEO sent a letter to the whole staff that was leaked saying he does not believe that canceling Joe Rogan is the right course of action here. But it has also caused a lot of distress for other people who are on Spotify. Some people like Neil Young, Joni Mitchell have pulled all their music off Spotify saying we're not going to be part of this anymore. Other people are threatening to do stuff like that. And now I think where we find ourselves right now as we're recording this is kind of in the middle of a mess. Brene Brown released a very long statement on Instagram saying that she feels basically very, very conflicted about being on Spotify right now. She has this exclusive content.
Contract. Yeah.
Yeah. She's trapped in a very lucrative contract for herself. So there's worse ways you could be trapped. But saying she doesn't really she compared it to being in an assigned seat in a cafeteria where she has to sit with Joe Rogan, but she doesn't like inviting her followers to listen to Joe Rogan. So she seems like she doesn't really know what to do. Yeah. And it's a big mess, and it'll be interesting to see where all this falls, because I don't know where this is all going to land.
Tyler and I were talking about this the other day, because like there's two angles here, in my opinion. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this. Like, obviously the free speech people, saying, hey, podcasting is free speech, don't censor, they have valid points. And then the people are saying there's certain content that crosses the line and has to be, limited, or there needs to be standards, they're valid as well. So there's people on both sides of the line that have right behind them, right? The thing that is unenviable about Spotify's position is that they fell into this completely unprepared, because what's their business? They are a music distribution platform. Yeah. They have nothing to do with the content. It's your choice. There's explicit music on our platform. There's clean music on our platform. You can, we have nothing to do with it. We're making it available. You're free to do what you want. And they thought podcasting would be the same, that they could be arm's length. The difference is with podcasting, they're not just a distributor. By paying for these exclusive deals directly with Joe Rogan and Brene Brown and Ringer and Bill Simmons and Gimlet point. And others, I never thought of it. They are now a publisher. They're a publisher. Yep. They are a content creator, and they do have an ethical standards that they have to adhere to as a publisher, or not, or they say we're going to endorse this content, but they can't treat it like music. They can't be hands off and say we're just a distributor, we have nothing to do with it. They are now a publisher, and they're paying for it. And now I don't think they anticipated this. And now the question is apples and oranges. What business are they going to be? Are they going to be a publisher or a distributor? And I think that's ultimately what's going to have to settle here, is that they can't keep on keeping on trying to treat it like they're a distributor of podcasts when they're not. They're a publisher of podcasts now. So anyway,
Emily, what you think? This is your generation. Like this is
my generation.
This is
Joe Rogan and Brene Brown are your generation.
No. I'm saying as far as because this is the thing. The thing I first saw was I noticed the people that were leaving Spotify were mostly elder statesmen, right? Yeah, and elder stateswomen. So I want to know I want to know your thought.
So, truthfully, all of my friends, we use Spotify, and I think so. It is frustrating that this is the platform that is like having so much issues, because like I've been using it for years. All my music's on there, so it's like if I were to this is honestly a personal selfish standpoint. If I were to change platforms, I would have to resave all the music that I like and find all the playlists and stuff like that. And so I think that's why you see not a lot of younger people doing it, because they would have to do the same thing. My thought is, I don't think the issue is that Joe Rogan's podcast is on Spotify. I think the issue is that someone who is speaking a lot of misinformation and is speaking pretty poorly about a population group or multiple population groups, the fact that is the number one podcast in America, that's what is frustrating to me. That people, whether he was on Spotify or Apple Podcast or Amazon Podcast, I'm sure they have a podcast platform. That's what's more concerning to me, is the fact that people are listening to this. I don't, Spotify can drop him. There was I don't even remember which one it was. There was some podcast platform that was going to offer him like $100 million contract, and they wouldn't censor him at all. And he could post whatever he wanted on there. And it's like the fact that people are paying money because that's what they want to hear is this very divisive content. That's where my frustration lies. I don't care whether or not Spotify drops him. It's that he gets a platform at all. Yeah. And that people want to listen to that platform.
And I think too, you kind of like, I think it's almost two separate scenarios, right? Like, I mean, with the comments that are overtly racist, you can't defend the indefensible, right? Like that there's no, like,
dude, his fans do. They're like, you don't understand the context. You're leaving out the context. He was saying the word to say, you don't say this word. And then he said it for shock value to make his point. And I'm like, what?
There's no context where it's justifiable. Context.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, you know, when you look at the misinformation piece, that's where, to me, there's a bit more complexity. Like, to me, that one's more of almost a gray area, because a lot of times when misinformation is deplatformed, all it does is further entrench those views into other. Like, I think when it comes to things that, look, to your point, Emily, 11 million people listen every episode, right? I think that means there's a real curiosity for a lot of people have a lot of questions about COVID and or vaccines or whatever And I think you have to be able to like welcome conversations. It's a fine line, but if you just suppress ideas that, you know, even if they're dangerous ones, you know, but if you don't allow those conversations to happen, it further entrenches them for a lot of people. Like, and there's got to be a way that you can find a balance to be able to address, you know, concerns and questions people have, but also kind of meet it meet the misinformation with information. There's a podcast I really like Gimlet produces, which is owned by Spotify, called Science Versus. And they went in and did kind of a breakdown, kind of combating some misinformation that went out on Joe Rogan's podcast, but it created an actual dialogue. And they invited Joe Rogan didn't, you know, go on, but they invited him on there to talk specifically about the COVID stuff. I think that kind of dialogue can actually break through to people. But obviously the racist stuff is just, like I said, repugnant and indefensible. And that's a kind of a separate issue that I think platforms have to have a hard line with.
When I look at the Joe Rogan podcast, like, all right, so up until the point you said they're a publisher of content, like my first perspective was I look at Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. Like, I live in Tennessee. I never go to Pulaski. Why don't I go to Pulaski? That was where the Ku Klux Klan was started. I just don't really see myself going on that side of the state. So for me, I go to Spotify to listen to what I want to listen to. And are there people that like what Joe Rogan says? Apparently there are. So like, I kind of land on the side where Emily, where it's not even disappointment, but it's just like, that's just what it is. I look at Joe Rogan as what I think about the typical, and I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but like the typical white male in America. Like, he appeals to that guy who's like, hey, I could just say kind of whatever I want, and because I'm white, I sound smart and it doesn't have any real consequences. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what I see. And I'm not saying that every white guy is like Joe Rogan, but I'm saying that some of the things that he says that don't encompass the nuances of how hurtful it could be to other people. I think that's what you want to talk about what white privilege is. That's that. Watch the Joe Rogan show. Like, that's what it is. He just says things like I saw the clip where he was like, say the N-word. You won't say it, will you? Yeah, we can say all these other words, but we can't say that word. And it's like, that is the white privilege part of it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I can say what I want with immunity, like, because I can either claim, well, you know, hey, what makes you so special that you can't be? I talk equally bad about everyone. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, it's not a surprising thing that it's the most popular show out for me. I'm just like, that's what it is. But I think just as a black dude, I've just learned to live with it. It's like, I'm not going to mess my listening enjoyment up. I'm not going to take my stuff off Spotify. Like, I'm not doing that stuff. And it's like, if people are into it, and they're definitely into it, hey, do your thing. Like, you know, that's just kind of how I look at it. You know what I mean? Because I guess my fear is, when we start, like somebody like him, I always worry about what happens when the wind blows the other way. So everybody's happy when the wind's blowing their direction, but when it blows the other way, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we don't like religious stuff, or hey, we don't like this stuff or that stuff or this stuff and that stuff. And then there's a, hey, did you hear someone said this? This is truly offensive. And then now we can take someone's whole thing off because we don't like it. That's where my fear, because another thing that I was saying, and I'm done, is like, it's crazy how it went from COVID to racism, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that bothers me, is because it was COVID misinformation. It didn't seem like it was getting that much traction. So we know that people use black rage. Black rage is like the straw that breaks the camel's back. So that's what kind of frustrates me. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought it was about COVID misinformation. Now we're going through that. I'm like, and it's like, it's shocking that he said some of the stuff that he said, but it's not that shocking to me. I'm like, I'm sure he probably did say some of those things. So I'm like, how does it flip from that? And it may, I'm not I am a diet conspiracy theorist, but I just kind of feel like now all of a sudden we're talking about racism, and it's like, let's use black rage. It feels like let's use black rage to get accomplished what we want. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion a little bit,
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about that, Derek?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen some people like leaving Spotlight. They're like, well, I'm going to leave Spotify until, not just other artists, but like listeners, like just people, with a plus account saying I'm out of here. And I've seen some musicians saying, please don't leave. However you feel about it, like Spotify is how, they promote young artists and they help me get discovered. They're paying my rent. Is that do you feel like Spotify does pretty good by young, new artists, and to the point where people should maybe think twice about leaving, even if they're really offended by Rogan and those guys?
I think if you're really offended, I think most of the people that are really offended don't really listen to his podcast in the first place. So that's my point. I'm like, don't punish yourself. If you enjoyed the Spotify listening experience, don't punish yourself, and don't punish the artists that you listen to. Like, man, continue to listen to them in that way. But at the same time, it's the free market. I think the best way, in my opinion, the best way to show somebody what you feel is to vote by not listening and by, vote with your dollars, man. Like that's my opinion. But I'm like, man, like the Gimlet podcast, it's like, hey, everybody just start listening to that and prop that up. You know what I mean? If that's the response to it, or, instead of listening to Joe Rogan, make a black music playlist and listen to that joint. You know what I'm saying? Reward those artists that are doing amazing things. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know how effective the 4 people leaving Spotify is gonna, gonna do.
Gotcha.
Just to wrap this up, at the end of the day, I just think Spotify will have to reckon with what kind of business are we going to be? Are we going to be a content creator, publisher, or are we going to be a content distributor? And until they figure that out, this is going to be a lot of messy stuff. Because, like you said, like who's setting the standards? What if the wind goes against this topic? And they just need to figure out what they're trying to do here. Yeah. And full disclosure, for the last year and a half, pushing 2 years, you heard Anchor ads on this podcast. Anchor is Spotify's podcast creation platform, and we were using it, partnered with it, revenue partner, everything with them for years. We've left. We left prior to this. We left about a month ago to a different platform, so we are no longer using the Spotify revenue podcasting revenue partnership. But, just FYI, it sounds real good. Like, hey, we left Spotify too. Yeah, it was just coincidence. But
hey, but anyway, you can listen to us though.
Exactly.
You can listen to us conscious free. You feel me?
Unless we get all those Rich Mullins quotes in here, then it's controversial.
Yeah, mostly conscious.
By the way, real quick, just a quick end note before, I know this segment's gone long, but I did drop something in the chat early on. I dropped the Liam Neeson tracksuit guy fight, and I queued it up right to when he makes an appearance. Mind you, when you watch this, You waited the whole movie to see who this guy was. And he's not even that big. Liam Neeson's like a head taller. It's just like a guy who I guarantee you was working on set that day. And they're like, hey, Frank, you're not going to believe it, man. You're the villain. We are, our big muscle guy backed out. Yeah. It's like a guy who doesn't even look like he's in that fantastic of like fighting shape.
Yo, it really is a dude in a tracksuit. That boy name is Doug.
He was holding the boom. He was holding the mic boom.
Listen, I know this is bad timing. Rock just texted. He's out. Frank, you in, homie? He's like, yeah, all right. I brought my tracksuit. I'm going to slide right in. And it's like, as him and Liam, like Neeson are squaring up, it's like, Liam Neeson's way bigger.
Each other.
This isn't even a fair fight.
Yo, Liam Neeson is like a foot taller than this dude.
This is the villain.
This guy.
He killed 100 bad guys to get to this guy?
Yo.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's
Relevant Buzz.
Make sure to follow Relevant on all the socials and make sure relevantmagazine.com is part of your daily web browsing habit. There's a lot of stuff going on every day. Stay tuned. Up next, Kristian Stanfill joins us. You're listening to Goth Babe. The song is Running Around. It's the last thing we need is a bunch of goth babes running around. Well, today's show is also brought to you by our friends at UHSM. Healthcare costs have been growing year after year and can lead to a lot of confusion. Well, thankfully, UHSM offers great and affordable health for everyone. Unite Health Share Ministries, or UHSM, is a Christian health sharing ministry that puts your health before anything else. Now, health sharing isn't insurance. The programs at UHSM are member-based fellowships where faithful people can take charge of their own health care. UHSM offers different programs to meet any and all of your needs, from telehealth options to plans that cover the unexpected moments in life. UHSM has something for everyone. For more information, check out uhsm.org or contact a representative at 800-900-8476. Again, to find out more, check out uhsm.org or contact a rep at 800-900-8476. Tell them Relevant sent you. Well, today's guest is Kristian Stanfill. He's a worship leader with Passion Church in Atlanta. Passion just dropped their newest EP. It's called Burn Bright. So he sat down with our very own Tyler Huckabee to reflect on this year's Passion Conference and the importance of having a community who can be real with you, especially when it's about stuff you don't want to hear. Here's our conversation with Kristian Stanfill.
I think it's still so important and potentially very, very moving when when a group like yours who's been in this for a long time I feel like deciding to release an album. Like some artists just, I've got 10 songs, time to release an album, I guess. But I really do feel and have respected you guys' commitment, feeling like we feel like we're being called, like it's time, like there's something on our hearts. Which has traditionally been, in past conversations with you, with other people in Passion, what leads to that. So what do you feel like sort of the impetus was for it's time for us to release another album?
Well, we knew that we were going to be in Mercedes-Benz at the beginning of the year. And so that was definitely a mark on the timeline we knew to aim for. And so we knew we wanted to bring some new songs, for the conference. And so we started writing in the fall, and, all these songs got written and kind of distilled down into these few songs that we really felt like, man, not only do we love these new songs, but we also feel like it's capturing the heart and the prayer of Passion 22. And so I think what you're going to hear when people are able to hear these live tracks, you're going to hear those signature and special moments from conference that if you were there, wow, I remember that. It's like What He's Done. We were talking about What He's Done, the video that just released. That was a moment that night with Tasha and Anna leading that song that people won't forget. I know I won't forget it.
Yeah.
And it's moments like that. There are those moments, kind of that happen throughout conference that you go, man, we're not just releasing mute, like you said, we're not just releasing a project to release a project, but we really feel like these were moments that we all looked around at each other and said, wow, we could have never planned it like this.
How do you, as an artist and as a leader, how do you balance the sort of the tension? It's almost like, in some ways, I hope this doesn't sound crude, but it's almost like improv, where you have a plan, you have a set list, and you have, there's things that we gotta land this plane at some point this evening. But then at some points, I know, like something happens that you didn't anticipate, that you didn't plan for. The Spirit moves. What do you see your role on stage at that point, and how do you sort of feel those things out, or seek leading there?
Wow, that is such a great question, man. For us, we're always aware that could happen. We're always aware as we're thinking about set lists and moments that we don't want to get so locked into our plan that we miss what God wants to do in the moment. As a worship leader, sometimes it takes stepping over the edge and just trusting that something is here, and I can't fully see it yet, but I feel like if I take a step with the Holy Spirit, that we will discover this as we go. That, especially in something like Passion, where, there's 55,000 people in the room, that can feel a little bit like stepping into nothing. But sure. I can confidently say, man, that anytime that God has said step and it feels like a risk, you step and you find something on the other side of that obedience that is so much, so far beyond what I could have ever dreamed or planned for that moment. And but what he's done is a perfect example. That live version of what he's done. I told Tasha before we went out there, I said, hey, we have built this space in at the end of what he's done. And I just want you to lead. Just go, whatever is on your heart to do. So we get to the end of what he's done, and we can either end the song, which would have been great, or we know that we have this extra space, and she goes into, I'll never forget what he's done. I'll never forget. That was all in the moment, unplanned. Just that's crazy. But because we had created that little space, that was able to come out.
I'm wondering, it's so interesting as you're saying this, this idea of taking a step, walking out in faith, and just trusting that moment to God. How applicable that lesson is off stage, just in your day-to-day spiritual life as well. That's it. Yeah. And I'm wondering, and if you don't have any immediate answer, was not a question I planned on asking. I'm just curious. Are there other examples you can think of that of this is something that I learned as a guy who makes worship music for a living, but this is also has huge implications for who I am just as a Christian, as a believer, my family, my life. Anything like that come to mind?
I don't know if this is, exactly what you're talking about, but the first thing that comes to my mind is being real and authentic and honest with the people around me. And, I have a couple of guys that I consider like my ride or die, like guys, accountability. They know the good, the bad, the ugly about everything in my life. And a big step for me, that I've had to learn to take, especially over the last, even just recently, like over the last few years, is trusting that as I step out and I'm honest and authentic with those guys and with the people in my life, that it's going to be met with love and grace and understanding. And so I think that's a good, just as we follow Jesus, we have to do it with other people. I think the tendency is to want to do it on our own and to isolate and go, I can do this and I can bow up and figure this out on my own. But the step of faith that I've had to learn most recently is to step into the community that I have.
I'm gonna burn bright, gonna let love rise, gonna shine like stars
I think this is something that a lot of people feel that I hear from like friends and people I work with, and they're like they go to something like a Passion conference, or even go see maybe Hillsong comes to town or Mav City or something like that, and they have a great experience and they feel so like this is awesome, and then they go back to their church on Sunday morning and it's just not really the same. They're like, well, my we got 150 people in my church and it hits a little different there. What do you say to somebody who's like, why can't I connect with God on my average Sunday morning worship set the same way that I do when I go to something like Passion?
Well, first of all, I get it. When you're at something like, in the Mercedes-Benz and Passion 2022, and you have all these amazing speakers and worship leaders and, the look of it, the sound of it, like, I get it. Like, going back to, even for us, going back to like our church here at Passion City Church, you walk in first Sunday and you go, well, it's not the Benz, and you people don't seem to be quite as excited as Passion students were. But, so, that's the real. But so I get how that can be hard, but I do believe that God inhabits the praise of his people. And no matter where you are, no matter who it is, when God's praises are sung or when his word is preached, his presence is there. The Holy Spirit is there. And, I believe that if you're open to it and aware of it, that God can meet you in any place.
That was Kristian Stanfill. Make sure to check out Passion's new EP, Burn Bright. And stay tuned. Up next, it's our Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah. Sango sent the track, I told him, boy, I'm on it. I done met some people, made me question motives. Let's go. Industry be tricky, gotta watch you closest. It's only when you winning that they taking notice. Okay, Midwest, I've been grinding ever since 2010. Back on Lafayette, I never been basic. Yeah. Legit like a candle, then I pin greatness. Piece of cake, watch the boy demonstrate. Yeah. Give me the ball like fade, or take it up all the way. Yeah. Hey, went to the mall today, I bought me a bottle, baby. Yeah. Hey, swerving the drag race.
You're listening to Stephen Malcolm. The song is Respect. Okay, it's time for
Pick Your Super Bowl Halftime Show.
Pick Your Super Bowl Halftime Show. That's what we're calling it. The Super Bowl is this weekend, and along with its hotly anticipated halftime show starring Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar, it's far from the first all-star lineup for a halftime show. It certainly won't be the last. You've been entrusted to choose the roster for the next Super Bowl halftime show. That's what this game is. Pick which lineup of stars, past, present, music legends, up-and-comers, still living, from the grave and great beyond, you would like, or you would think would be the most bearable, and make your case. So I am actually going to, it's basically like that pick your lunch table thing we did a few weeks ago. So I am going to read 6 lineups. Okay, 6 lineups. Actually, I'll share this as well so you guys can see them. I'm going to read 6 lineups, and you guys pick your case, which halftime show you think is be the best one for next year. Lineup number 1, Prince, Janelle Monáe, Hootie and the Blowfish, and the Newsboys. But only instrument they have is the spinning drum kit. That's what
that could be the entire halftime show. For 25 minutes, him just spinning with a drum solo.
Lineup number 2, the Fugees, Mason Ramsey, the Walmart yodeling kid, BTS, and Billy Ray, Miley, and Noah Cyrus. Okay, wow. So that's lineup 2. Lineup 3, The Killers, Billie Eilish, Dolly Parton, and the Blinking Underdogs, Oscar Isaac's old Christian ska band. That's an interesting one. I like that one. Lineup 4, Future, Cardi B. But then you got Nickelback, and then Sufjan Stevens bringing down the joint.
See, I was riding on the train with you till you got the.
And then lineup 5, Harry Styles, but the only instrument he has is the Newsboys' spinning drum kit. Okay, so Pusha T, Lana Del Rey, and Pentatonics. Pentatonics, because acapella is real good in the stadium setting.
Or can we just have the baritone guy from Pentatonics? He's the most impressive. Like, just the baritone guy.
Lineup 6 is the last one. Lineup 6. Adele, Run the Jewels, Machine Gun Kelly, and Will Smith. All right. So you guys have the list. It's in our chat. You can look at them. So make the case of which it should be the next Super Bowl halftime lineup.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Please do.
Yes, I'm going lineup 6 because that would be crazy.
Just because of Run the Jewels?
No, Adele and Will Smith, bro.
Adele's doing a ballad. Nobody wants to hear ballads at the halftime show.
I want to hear a ballad at a halftime
Adele
show.
would be fire. And here's one thing I'll say. MGK gets a lot of hate, but I seen that dude live. He is insane. Like, bro, he's a great performer. He's definitely he's one of those, he has a very punchable face, but he's definitely an amazing performer. Like MGK is like, to me, and then Will Smith, all them hits, like, bro, like Will Smith.
But they're lame hits, like Jiggy with it and stuff. Nobody wants that.
Those joints would be fire though. Welcome to Miami. And you're gonna get Jazzy Jeff with that. And one thing about Will Smith, he's a great performer as well. Like, you got some actually pretty good performers on, and then Run the Jewels. I don't even have to say anything about Run the Jewels.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Killer Mike and LP. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's that. Like, the only asterisk I really see here is how would Adele's performance. Well, actually, no, the asterisk is MGK. Like, he can either way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with all these people, but the only thing I feel you with the Adele, like, is she gonna do a ballad? But man, she got some, man, rolling in the deep would go crazy on the Super Bowl stage. You know
Have
what I'm
y'all
saying?
seen? There's videos of people putting Adele songs to like, with Megan Thee Stallion. They've like combined their songs together. They're very good.
Yeah.
And it somehow works. So I think they could get something going there.
Jesse, was it Run the Jewels that brought the kid up on stage during the concert and gave him a tattoo during the show?
No. That was a heavy metal band, but that was a baller.
Sounds like Run the Jewels though.
Yeah, that was a baller move.
They brought the kid up. No, there was a kid in the front row, and he was like just singing every lyric
he knew
so
every
aggressively,
lyric,
and he was up on the Jumbotron, and LP was like, dude, this kid's crazy. Come up on stage. And they brought this kid up on stage and like performed with him. Like, this kid was taking verses. That was nuts. The whole place went crazy because it was just this little kid in a button-up shirt. You know what I mean? It was like,
I love it.
But I think, Cameron, the Will Smith thing is easily resolvable because you're saying that he has to perform as Will Smith, the musician, not just Will Smith. Like, let him be Will Smith, the action star. Like, the halftime show starts with Blue Angels flying over the stadium. The Blue Angels just
he parachutes
red,
out
white, blue right behind him.
rock.
Then you see a parachute and a guy ziplining in, and you're
Will
like,
Smith.
the whole audience is like, who is this? And they hear Adele's voice in the distance singing him home, and he's just zipping down, and he lands right in the middle of the field. And he's like, welcome to Earth. And then boom, Machine Gun Kelly
comes out.
Run the Jewels come out, and it's guys, you just got to have the vision. You know,
low key is a pretty decent lineup, dog. I'm not gonna even lie. Like, out of all, or maybe it's the other lineups are so like, what? You know, that this one works for me, but yeah, I like this.
It does feel like the far and away favorite, you know. Though I would like to see. I would like to see Oscar Isaac's. Yeah.
Lineup
The
3
Killers,
is my pick. I'll be
Billie
honest.
Eilish, Dolly Parton, and the Blinking Underdogs, Oscar Isaac's old Christian ska band. I mean,
that was my second one.
I can see that.
It seems like the most chaotic because those are like the most. Not the most diverse genres, but I have no idea how they would come together. But I would love to see them try. And that's what I want.
See, I would just go for pure shock value and go for number 5. And I would have, obviously Harry Styles just spinning would trigger a lot of
Spinning
people
on the
because
drum,
we
the
don't,
news voice spinning drum
because
kit,
we don't know if he's going to make it out alive
Pusha T,
because it's quite a long time. But
Pentatonics.
Pentatonics, like doing one of their like little Christmas, they're all in their sweaters, like we've all seen them at like Rockefeller Center.
It's all Christmas music.
It's all they've got sweaters on, and for some
they
reason
have
it's
other
February.
songs. Nobody knows it.
No, that's it.
These 3 men, and then Pusha T comes out. Okay,
Well,
because they have 3 wise men.
He starts talking about cocaine.
Yeah, and then he goes back to old clip stuff, and then he just starts burning Drake to the ground. Like, just right there for no reason. Unprovoked. Most of the halftime show is just Pusha T humiliating Drake and Pentatonics looking shocked and terrified at what they're witnessing. And then it just goes to black, and Harry Styles does not make it, unfortunately. They spun him to death.
No,
and,
he spun him to
death.
Shock
he flung
America.
off. He got going too fast, and his strap broke.
Yeah, the Blue Angels, had to land and to try to perform a rescue, but yeah.
The lineup one with Prince and Hootie and the Blowfish and Newsboys, but only with the drum kit. Janelle Monáe is the only one. She's a great performer. I think she's performed at the halftime show, but I'm not like, I don't know. She couldn't stand up next to Prince and stuff. I don't know, but Fugees.
Now she pretty good. Now Janelle is pretty. I mean, saying she couldn't stand next to him. I don't know about that. I mean, it's Prince, so he's a legend. Right. You know what I'm saying? But she would hold her own.
She's a great performer.
Especially against Newsboys.
She would hold her. Janelle is an entertainer. Like, it was good. I was with y'all and look, I know the Newsboys. I've toured with them. Man, shout out Michael Tate and all them cats. But
hey,
that's why I jumped.
I didn't know you toured with them. Do they still have the spinning drum kit?
Oh yeah, that is I'm telling you,
still
that
the highlight, like right at the peak of the
highlight
concert?
of the show, and it's always on Jesus Freak. It's always on a song that doesn't have any, it's not a Newsboys song. It's
that makes
it's
no
on the
sense
Michael
to
Tate
me.
joint, but it's always on that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, and listen, those people, they love it. They love it.
Dude, I was in like a summer camp, Christian summer camp in the early 90s, and they brought that thing out, and it like brought the house down. And then like they're still 30 years later, still rocking. It's probably the same one too.
It is. And they look, I'm just worried about Duncan. Like the drummer, I'm like, yo, bro, like, what are the effects of spinning for 20 years?
For 30 years.
30 years. Like, what effect is that going to have on my guy?
He has crippling vertigo, but people, they're not ready
They
for
love
that.
it. That's his thing. Once you're a spinning drummer, you're always a spinning drummer. I'm sorry. Once people see it one time, you're like, I got to see it again. I have to. There's no going back. I don't care if it's causing him health problems. I need to see him play drums in a giant spinning hamster wheel.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Pick Your Super Bowl Halftime Show. We'll post these on Twitter polls. You guys can give us your opinion about which ones you want to see. Follow us on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank Kristian Stanfill for joining us. Make sure to check out Passion's new EP. It's called Burn Bright. Great stuff. Always is. Also, a little housekeeping. Head over to relevantstore.com each week to check out our latest merch. You can get our annual print edition, sweatshirts, podcast, fan gear, a bunch of stuff. There's a good sale, shipping deal going on right now. Relevantstore.com. Also, check out relevantmagazine.com where you can see our winter digital issue for free. We have conversations with a few Oscar nominees like Andrew Garfield, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Denzel Washington, and a lot more great content. It's all available for free. Just click on the magazine tab at relevantmagazine.com. Also, while you're at the site, make sure to get our daily newsletter for our top 5 trending articles in your inbox every morning. It's a great way to stay in touch with the best stuff that our team puts out every day. And for all the stuff we put out, make sure to follow Relevant on all the socials. We're on Twitter and Facebook all the time and Instagram when we feel like it. Make sure to follow Relevant on all the socials. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
Emily from Paris. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
100 bad guys to get to this guy?
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.